and gentlemen, friends and family, and welcome back to The Way Outdoors. Today is Thursday, June 13th. It is just after 7 o'clock in the morning. Today I will be hiking two 13ers. One of them is a Centennial, which is a top 100 highest peak in the state. I will be hiking Mount Hope A. There are two Mount Hopes in Colorado. I think one is down in the San Juans. So this is Mount Hope with a capital A after it. And then also there's a second 13er I'd like to pick up called Quail Mountain. So this hike starts out at the Sheep Gulch Trailhead, which is near the Missouri Gulch Trailhead, where a lot of people hike 14ers, Belford, Oxford, and Missouri. There's also access to Huron Peak and some other really tall peaks known as the Apostles. Pretty sweet. I'll be turning off to the Twin Lakes area here pretty soon in about 5 minutes. One note, there is a small wildfire in the valley that just started a couple days ago. I'm actually going to be driving by it here, and I'm hoping that that doesn't create a lot of haze first off, as well as also it doesn't overflow into the area that I'm going to. I might actually be turning off and it getting pretty smoky here soon. Today's hike, if all goes according to plan, should be about 10.2 miles with 5,200 feet of elevation gain. This is a pretty steep hike, so if I were to just do Mount Hope alone, it's about 4 miles to the summit in 4,000 feet of gain. So that is a really steep ratio. That's the 1-to-1 ratio, kind of 1,000 feet over a mile. I heard the switchbacks do make it easy to get that elevation gain, and also that section will be a part of the Continental Divide, the CDT trail. So the hike starts again at the Sheep Gulch Trailhead, and I'll be heading up the trail through switchbacks and eventually get to Hope Pass. Hope Pass is a very picturesque pass. There's some prayer flags up top up there, and I might even run into some through hikers, so we will see how that looks. But I did mention there's a small wildfire just north of here, and I've turned now onto the road, and it definitely does look like there's some haze in this valley. I think once I start climbing, I should get out of that, hopefully. As you can see, kind of over my shoulder here, the haze is pretty prevalent in the valley here. I'm hoping to get up high and break free of that. The fire's not too big, and I'm not concerned about it spreading enough to stop me in my tracks or it being an issue parking where I am today. I'm excited to get these peaks going. One note, I do have some snowshoes. I saw a couple of recent trip reports that show some snow up high, but I also did read that people were able to hike in their trail runners up till about 13,700. And then from there, it'd only be about 200 vertical feet to the summit. So we'll see what it looks like. If I'm uncomfortable by any means with the snow level, I will turn around. I hate to do it, but gotta be safe. It has been very warm out here lately and the snow's melting quick. Let's get the rest of this drive done. I've got about 20 minutes to the trailhead. Well, folks, after a 3.5-hour drive, the area is closed due to the fire. So I was going to be heading northbound here, which is a part of a connector to the CDT. So you actually go up Hope Pass and then down, and on the downside is where the fire is. So although I'm not going to be hiking near the fire, I'm going to respect this. I mean, technically, if I got on the pass and then went for the peak, it would be fine. So that's kind of a bummer. When I was researching this route, I did kind of have a plan B in mind. The other plan is starting from the Missouri Gulch Trailhead. I'm gonna head up into the basin. Belford and Oxford would be to the left, Missouri to the right. And if you go straight through the basin, you reach Elkhead Pass. So once at Elkhead Pass, you go up and over into Missouri Basin, and there are two 13ers there, Emerald Peak and Iowa Peak. I had those as a backup plan, and the hike length should be pretty close. I think it's still around maybe 10 miles, probably even a little bit less elevation gain. Neither of those are Centennials, but they are 13ers, and at some point I wanted to come back up here and get those, so had to pivot a little bit. Didn't really expect the fire, especially the closure down here. I mean, in this valley, it's beautiful. The sky is crystal clear. I'm gonna head back down the road for about 3 miles, back to the Belford-Oxford Trail. and kind of assess from there, but kind of thinking that's gonna be the plan. Gonna shoot for Emerald Peak and Iowa Peak. So let's get back on the road and see how we do. It's kind of a bummer, gonna have to come back and get quail and hope, but I'm gonna shoot up this drainage here and see if I can get Emerald and Iowa today. I'm running a few minutes behind now since the closure, so let's get the pack loaded up and ready to go. I am now at the Missouri Gulch Trailhead, where I'm gonna be heading up the basin, up and over Elkhead Pass, and hopefully getting 13ers Iowa Peak and Emerald Peak. So I did do a little bit of research on this route last night, kind of as a backup. I did not take pictures of the route, although I do remember reading a couple trip reports, and my memory's pretty good with it. So shouldn't be too tricky. It's actually a little bit less sketchy than Hope was gonna be. So I got my pack loaded up, plenty of water, gear, first aid, snacks, beer. I got everything, so I'm ready to go. I have been up this basin now 3 times. I've done this hike into the basin and pretty familiar with it. Just wondering about snow and if there's going to be some kind of marshy, swampy stuff. I know I have to go off trail once over Elkhead Pass to get to these 13ers, and I kind of go to the right of a lake. So we'll see what it looks like up there. There were 2 cars in the parking lot when I got here, and it is 8:11 in the morning on Thursday, June 13th. Let's go get Iowa and Emerald. So you can see smoke from the fire. That is the way I came up. There was a small worry in my head that if the fire spread quickly, I wouldn't be able to get back down the road, but I think authorities would have closed the road if that was the case, but you never know. So once I get up higher, I'll have a little bit better of a view, but so far just kind of heading up these switchbacks, pretty steep. This next one right here is actually just going to go back up that way. It's a steep little slog right now. Alright, I've been plugging along for about a half mile now. Kind of got over the initial real steep switchbacks. There's probably 15 or 20 of them that go up pretty fast, and then it kind of doesn't level out, but it's less steep, and then you kind of have like a straight shot up into this basin. I will get close to the creek here pretty soon. You can hear it rushing. Snow's melting fast, so all the water in the state is pretty high right now. Beautiful morning. Weather should be perfect. I saw 0% precipitation, so I brought my rain jacket in the car and then decided to leave it. I do have a puff just in case and a mid layer, so I'm gonna keep plugging away here, get up into the basin, get some good views. Alright, so down there's the way I came. Just kind of broke free from the forest and crossed the creek there on that log bridge. Now I'm continuing up this way. Obviously, avalanche came through here. And I think the trail's just going to skirt the left side of this meadow and up into those trees. So let's keep going. Steep, steep. The trail crew has put in a couple steps. Some more logs they're going to use. Heading up the meadow. Beautiful day. All right, I made it to the top of the meadows. Heading back into the trees here now. But beautiful view. Smoke still lingering. So the fire is over this ridge, back on the other side of this whole mountain. So I made it up the steep switchbacks, just about getting the first basin views, and made it to this cool old cabin. Remember taking some pictures here a while ago, kind of an old-timey black and white photo I took, which I think is pretty cool. So someone lived here at some point. It's pretty much the same condition as it was. I think I climbed Belford, Oxford, maybe in 2016 or 17. So it's been, 6-7 years, but it looks about the same. I showed you earlier where they were installing those logs. I think these little yellow flags mean they're working on the trail here, so maybe they're gonna add some more logs. They got some up there. And that is Mount Belford. So you go up this ridge right here, up to the peak, and then Oxford's out of sight, but behind this ridge. But I'm gonna be going up in the basin, staying right at Belford, continuing straight. Let's go. Getting into some snow. There's a boot pack, and it's pretty solid. It's gonna melt quick though, so by this afternoon this will be pretty slushy. Yeah, it's already melting. So Belford's that guy, Missouri over there, and Elkhead Pass is gonna be right in the middle up there. I'm gonna be heading right to Elkhead Pass. Just hoping it's not too snowy. All right, folks, got some more bad news. So I started making my way up Elkhead Pass to head up and over towards Iowa and Emerald, and it looks like it is in fact too snowy. I had snowshoes in the car, but it's real slushy. A lot of the trail just kind of goes across a steep grade, so unfortunately, gonna have to make a change of plans on that as well. Some mountain goats right in the middle of the picture there. Wish I had a better zoom. They're right at the top of that rocky cliff. The waterfall below it. Man, they are really up there. So I haven't filmed in the last mile or so because I didn't do any climbs, so I was actually just gonna kind of delete this footage or never use it for a video, but I was kind of thinking get a little more creative with it. So still a way outdoors adventure. I've done some hiking. I mean, it's gonna end up being probably 7 miles total and a good amount of gain. So I am going to keep filming on the way down, get some shots, and film on the way out. And my plan going home back to the west slope, I took I-70 east and then down through Leadville. My plan is to go over Independence Pass, which just opened. And that's actually just the north side of this ridge up here. And it's paved all the way, and it goes through Aspen and Glenwood Springs, and Casey is there. If you don't know about Casey and their beer, gotta go check it out. Kind of missed one of my favorite views as far as filming on the camera here, but I did get a shot of it on my iPhone, so I'll maybe just throw that in right now. So that shot was really cool. You come around the meadow and there's that kind of open view looking towards this ridge with all those baby aspens and all those light green leaves coming in. It's really cool. And there were a mountain goat family up on the ridge right above this waterfall. It was pretty sweet. It's funny, I was saying that I need to make sure I keep my head up and look around not only on the trail but around you. I mean, up these ridges, and for some reason I was thinking like maybe there's a bear up on the slopes, and it's so funny. I just was looking up at this slope and this family of mountain goats pop out from the trees. You couldn't see them prior, and it's almost like they were waiting for me to look up there, and then I saw them for a while. So pretty sweet. Beautiful day though. Smoke even looks like it's cleared out. Can't really tell yet. I'll show you down here. There's a light breeze. Temperatures are in the 60s or 70s, and and it just turned out to be a glorious day. I hope the wildfire's getting taken care of. Again, going over Elkhead Pass, when I made that turnoff, the trail just disappeared into the snow, and it would have been just post-holing, just sink into your knee, and it literally disappeared over the ridge. And seeing towards the pass even further, I knew it would be snowier, and I had to get over that pass and do a whole nother basin and towards the peak. So that was my backup plan. You know, originally I was going to be doing Quail and Hope, but Sheep Gulch Trail was close because of the fires. So now plan C was to do Belford, but I just said I'm just going to skip it. So here we go, enough chat. Let's keep this video going though. So I just mentioned that straight away, right off the bat here, and the quality here isn't very good either. See, there's just all different size rocks, so you got to watch your footing. This is kind of the worst type of trail. I'm just about back. You can hear the roaring of the creek and across that bridge, and I can see the parking lot. I wish I got a peek in today, but you know, that's the way it goes. After doing so many peaks, I've actually only had one other failed hike technically, and that was due to snow as well. So that's just the way things go, and not disappointed. Still got out here in beautiful nature, and I got a nice drive home. Alright, made it back to the trailhead. Going to be heading up Independence Pass, and I just spoke with a couple who just walked past, and they said the fire's kind of shifting its direction, but there's no more smoke in the valley. Beautiful hike getting up into the basin. I know I didn't get any peaks, but it's always cool going up there. Took a little break between my decisions on what to do and enjoyed a WeldWorks Juicy Bits IPA. There it is. Very nice hazy. And yeah, we'll be heading out from here. Beautiful day. 3.5 hour drive, but that's all right. All right. We got a bumpy road right now, but I decided to take a detour. I decided to come back up this way to go to there's an old town up here called Winfield. It's pretty sweet. I drove past it coming up to hike Mount Huron, a 14er, a couple years back with Dom, and we didn't stop to check it out, and I figured today I'd be hiking probably another 3-4 hours, so I'm gonna head back up this road a little bit and check it out. It's only 12:08, so this road is bumpy, so I'm taking my time, especially now that I'm filming it here. Oh god. So this little town though is pretty sweet. I remember driving by and wanting to take a look, so I'm gonna head up here. And just for reference, the distance from the Missouri Gulch, where I just hiked from, to Sheep Gulch is about the same as Sheep Gulch to Winfield. So now I'm heading up. I do remember the road being a little rougher, as you can see, so I'm gonna take it slow and get on up there. I have reached Winfield. It's awesome. This valley opens up here. Go park and check this place out. That's looking down the road coming into Winfield. There's a couple little markers here. Cabin that used to be there, I'm assuming. But here we are. What a beautiful backdrop. This is ridiculous. No wonder people wanted to live here. This is Winfield. Let's go take a look around.
It had 3 saloons, 2 hotels, a general store, smithy, post office, and a church in which no service was ever held. A daily stagecoach service from Granite made the trip to Winfield and Leavick Historical Society of Tracy County. The original Winfield Cemetery is located 1/4 mile up the right fork. 26 people are buried there, victims of fire, snowslide, shootings, mining accidents, disease, and unmanned.
Can see in a little bit of a glare there, but the old schoolhouse. There's actually books on there still. Pretty sweet. Typical home for miners. Silver era, so there wasn't gold, they're looking for silver. 1870 to 1915. So I got some shade here, maybe we can see what it looks like. Pretty cool. You can see, well, I don't know if you can see, there's a cot back there in the back left. Table with some cups on it, plates, saw, stove. Kitchen area over here, hard to see. Very cool. What a place to live. These views are unreal. I mean, you are way out up here. I bet the winters are just bitter. So, definitely worth it to stop up here. It didn't take too long at all. Gonna head on out, back down the road. It's pretty rough. Take my time. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. This guy scared me. About to jump in the road. Hey, bud. Alright, be careful crossing the road. So this entire road has some really good camping. It's a Thursday and I've only seen maybe 2 people in any of these spots. There's an awesome row of campsites I'm going to show you here. It is spectacular. And normally there's about 10 spots maybe down in here, and normally they are all full. But let me show you. So there's one there. So yeah, you can come down in here and circle around and be right by the creek. I mean, this is amazing stuff. Let me show you. This whole area, there's a ton of spots, kind of like a group camping even. And then down here, there's plenty more down by the creek. You can see, or maybe that dead end's actually by a rock. That's sweet. So you are right by the creek here. And in fact, I'm gonna just pull over and show you guys. All right, so you kind of pull in there, or a little bit further down that way, but you can circle down in here, and there is, I mean, there's a spot right over there. There's 2 big fire rings right here, which is kind of the ideal move. Especially if you had a large group, you could really just kind of occupy this whole space. But what a cool spot. It is so open. You got another one there. That is cold. So the second Summit beer I had today is Lawson Sip of Sunshine. Had it before, delicious double IPA, 8%, clean, not hazy, and they are out of Vermont. It is a very well-known beer up there, along with Maine Brewing, their IPA Lunch, and things like Alchemist, Heady Topper, and Focal Banger. Sip of Sunshine is fantastic. I'm gonna enjoy it down by this creek real quick. Cheers. So that spot is really, really cool. Tons of camping here. The one thing is though, if you were camping alone with someone and you wanted a little privacy, I could see someone else filling in another one of these spots. They'd kind of have to like drive by you, or you'd have to drive by them. to get to these little campfire rings, but if you wanted some privacy and wanted to be able to, you know, walk a dog around or something else, you would probably have some friends with you. But it is a beautiful spot. There's nobody up here right now, which is crazy. Thursday, it is, you know, second week of June, but the weather is fantastic. It's gonna be in the 40s tonight. I wish we would have come out and camped here. I've known this road is fantastic. There's a ton of sites, so, and it's no reservation, just kind of first come, first serve, disperse. So unless you go to the bathrooms at the trailheads, Missouri Gulch down the road, I think you have to find a whole cat hole style, but beautiful, right by the creek. Can't beat it. There's another big grouping of camp spots. I'm not going to turn off, but probably half mile down from where we were. Plenty in there as well. So I'm headed back down from Winfield and Sheep Gulch up there, and the Missouri Gulch parking lot is just down there where I did my hike. But I want to check out this Vicksburg location. I've heard of it before, and it's kind of like an old museum, kind of old outbuildings and everything. I've always seen this place, and I wanted to check it out. So, nobody else around, let's go see what we got. Guessing old shed or outhouse maybe. So it's barely hanging in there. Ancient poops down there. So again, I know Winfield was a silver mining community. I could probably say the same for Vicksburg. Pretty sweet. Yeah, there's a good amount of buildings here. Looks like an old barn. Old mining equipment. Let's see what we got. Nope, button's not working. Hard to see in there. So this looks like the kind of main drag, the main street. Pretty wild. They had a main drag here. You can definitely tell they've done some upgrades on a few of these. This fence obviously is new. There's maybe 8-10 buildings just along this initial stretch. This one right here looks like someone actually does live here seasonally. There's like actual green trash cans, plastic trash cans back there, and it's got a modern door with a gate and windows. So who knows if it's modern inside, but it's kind of the main drag walking down. Gosh, these views just everywhere around you. All this old mining equipment. I really love checking out stuff like this. You know, there's a forest fire just over the ridge, and in a bad scenario, stuff like this could go into flames and be gone forever. It's awesome to think about the history here, as well as Winfield. So really cool someone's up there still working on it, and they're preserving it. Worth the stop. Take 10-15 minutes to walk around here, look through the windows. All right, it's pretty windy, but I want to take one last look up this valley. That's where I came from. All right, we're turning left here on 82. Gonna be going up Independence Pass. The wildfire is just off my left here. I'll show you in a minute. It turned off. We're heading up Independence Pass, and you can clearly see the wildfire. Again, pretty big actually. So I would have been up in those peaks over there, and they had the northbound route out of there closed down because of the wildfire. And you can see why. Looks like it's getting a little more serious. All right, well that fire's getting pretty real. I am headed up Independence Pass now. I made it through the little tiny town of Twin Lakes, and now up and over. I heard there is a closure on Independence Pass where they're taking both lanes down to one, so there's kind of like a stop and go situation, but should be fine. I got snacks, water, everything, and this is one of the best drives in Colorado. So we are now driving away from the fire, headed towards Aspen and Glenwood Springs. So first look at Independence Pass. We're gonna be hooking back up left up that road and then way up there by the snow. Look at that view. There's La Plata 14er. Look at that view. Holy moly. Still winter up here. So that's where I came from. You wrap all the way down the valley that way, and then you can't see it, but you take the road all the way on up here, curve around. I'm almost at the top. This is one of the last hairpins. Then you keep going up here. So it is definitely winter still up here. All right, we are almost to the top of Independence Pass. Another minute or two. But it is very snowy up here. I'm gonna step out of the car up here and take a look around as well. This view is one of the best in the state as far as driving. It looks like Rohan up here, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. Backside Independence Pass, coming on down. Very impressive highway. I just stopped by Casey Blending in Glenwood Springs. Excellent beer. I got a West Coast IPA and a West Coast Pilsner. Something about those West Coast, I guess. Nice, clean, delicate beer. Great hop profile. Phenomenal spot. If you're in Glenwood and you like good beer, check out Casey, please. It's fantastic. So other than that, I am on my way back home. Should be there in about an hour. It was a great day, despite all the hiccups. Had the fire closure, which really kind of destroyed my first plan. And then my second plan was to get up into that Belford-Oxford basin and get some 13ers. And then the snow and the trail disappearing deterred that as well. So I enjoyed the time in the basin. It was still beautiful to get out, exploring Winfield and the Leavick mine site, just kind of scouting for some campsites for the future. All in all, great trip. Me deciding to film it still is kind of up in the air. That's different from a lot of my trips. If I were to fail a hike, normally I would just kind of delete this video and not use it. But I figured, hey, you know, I drove out, enjoyed all that, and still attempted the hike and had some initial footage, so I figured I'd use it. Thanks for tagging along, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow and gives me more incentive to get out here and do these trips. Safe trails, we'll see you soon, and thanks for watching.